In this video, we're going to get started creating our first section of the Stomp teaser video. Cool. So we're just going to do that intro. Hi, hello, welcome to Create Studio, and we're going to add that logo like that, okay? So the first thing you want to do is download the audio track underneath this video, and then you want to import it into Create Studio by clicking on the plus import media button and bringing it into Create Studio, okay? So once you've done that, simply drag it onto your canvas and it'll add it to your timeline, and you can actually go through and drop down the waveform by clicking on the arrow over here, and that will show you the audio waveform so that we can match and sync up the text and our media with our actual beats. Okay, cool. So the next thing we want to do is go through and add a text layer. So I'm going to click on text over here, and the text font that I'm using is Poppins, but you can use whatever text font you like. And I'm going to go through and change the text to hello. And I'll just make it a little bit bigger, something like that, and make sure that it's centered. And I'm going to click on this color icon here. You could also click over here and then select linear gradient, okay? And this is where we can add two color gradients to the text. I'm going to use something like a purple type color, and also maybe a blue, kind of greeny blue like that. And that's looking really good, like so, okay? And what I want to do also is change the background color to make it white. So to do that, you just simply click on the settings icon and you'll see the settings panel over here, and click on the background and make it white like that, okay? So now we've got our first text. We can basically go through and sync it up with the audio beat. So I'm just going to drag this zoom button over here. I'm going to go through and click and drag at the end of this track and just basically zoom back in and see the audio beat. And I just want to make sure that this beat and the text ends at the start of the second beat, and it also starts at the kind of where it pops in the beginning of the first beat. So I'm just going to drag that out so that it starts not on screen, then it hits the beat and the text pops like so, and then it comes off, okay? So I've got my first text. I'm just going to simply select that and use Command D on my keyboard. If you've got a Windows computer, you can use Control D to duplicate it. I'm just going to drag it over like so that it goes from hello, and then I'm going to change this to we, okay? And you can go through and adjust the colors, and you can really use any color you like. Whatever looks good to you, you can change it up. I might make this a little bit more green, or like kind of teal blue, I guess, like so. So it goes hello, and then it goes, the second beat pops here, and there's actually a little beat over here as well. So this will be a quick transition. And what we want it to do is basically start in the middle like this, and then we want it to slide across, and then when the second or the third beat hits, the text should appear over here, okay? So I'm just going to go through and create a position animation by dropping this down and clicking on the plus icon and clicking on position, okay? So now that I've added this animation here, I need to go through and animate it. So at the start position, we've got it in the middle of the screen. I'm going to just kind of drag this out a little bit like so, and I want it to end at about this point when the next text comes on. So I'm just going to move this over, and at this point I want this text to move across. So I'm just going to use the arrows on my keyboard and just kind of bring it across like that. And what I'm going to do is I'm going to duplicate this text again, and I'm just going to delete that animation on this second one, and I'm just going to drag this one out so that this one basically comes on with that third beat. So I'm just going to type in R, okay, like this. And this is looking pretty good. I might move this across a little bit like so. So it goes from the first beat hits, and it goes hello, and then it goes across, we, and it slides as it's coming in. It starts in the middle and slides across, and then the next one just pops like that. Okay, so let's just preview that in real time. Cool. So you can see how fast it is. Maybe you could even make that animation a little bit delayed or a little bit longer. So it goes like this. So it's as the next text coming on, it's still sliding a little bit. You could do something like that, so it's not as fast. Okay, cool. So we've got hello we are, and then the next thing that happens on this video is it goes from hello we are, and then it slides across Create Studio, and then the logo. Okay, so let's just add that. So what I'm going to do is just collapse all these and bring the audio track up the top. I'm just going to rename this one, call this audio like this. And it's best to have your audio track at the top so you can really see the text as you add new layers and basically match them up, okay? So What I'm going to do now is add a background. So I'm going to click on the shape tool and I'll just remove that and just add this rectangle. And what I'm going to do is basically change the color and make a red type orange gradient. So let's go and grab the red and let's grab this orange color like so. And with this shape selected, I'm going to click on the expand button to make it full width like that. And yeah, I can go through and actually just drag this down like so, so that it's underneath, and just call this one background, for example, BG for background. So it goes from white, and then we have some text. I'm just going to add some text over here. So let's say create studio, and let's just make that a bit bigger and centered. Yeah, maybe something like that. It looks quite good. And for this one, we're going to just add a motion preset. So I'm going to go to motion, and I'm going to go to slide in right. Okay. And so I'm just going to make it about the duration of that beat. So it kind of goes across like this. But what I'm going to do is just right click on this and go to disable fade. And I'm going to click on the animation settings and make it start kind of on the screen already. So it's on, but it's moving towards the middle like this. Okay. And that's looking good. So just make sure it's centered. Yep. And then what I'm going to do is basically drag this out so that when the next beat comes on, we're going to show the logo. And yeah, the text is going to disappear and we'll add that logo. So you could just go and import your logo here. I'm just going to go use the Create Studio shape that's already in here and just add that like so and just center it. And then what I'm going to do is just drag it out again so that it ends at the start of this beat, and just drag this across so that also the background changes as well when that text changes. So let's just preview what we've done so far. Cool. So you can see how simple that is. I mean, when you're first trying this out, it may seem a little bit complicated, but it's best to start with a slower beat if you can, and just have a go at working with lining up the text. Without doing the animations, you can go through and just line up the text with the beats. If you want to be a bit more advanced, you can obviously add those animations that I showed you before with this slide like this, and that just adds some more kind of dynamic variety to your videos. So go ahead and try that out, and then jump onto the next video and we'll continue creating this video inside Create Studio.